Another good practice.
Coach, what went wrong?
It's just training camp. It's something I'm not really going to talk about in public.
Overall, can you talk about the experience over the last couple weeks in San Bernardino and how it's been for camp out here?
It's been unbelievably great for our football team. It's just been, first of all, it's a great environment. This campus is beautiful. The people here, especially Cliff Dockerman, have just been, they bent over backwards to make it a great experience for us. The opportunity to be together as a team and bond and spend some good times and some tough times and get to know each other. It's been great.
What would you say the strengths and weakness of this team so far are coming out? Having seen him for a couple of weeks.
Well, I think by position, running back, defensive line, wide receiver, linebacker are probably our strengths. I'd say depth right now is probably our weakness. We need to develop better depth.
What's some of the stuff that you just can't tolerate out here?
Lack of effort, lack of focus, lack of discipline.
Did you see some of that today?
You see it every day.
You said it's just training camp. Is that kind of...
I'm not going to talk about what just happened because I'm not going to let you guys write about it. So you can keep asking me if you want, but I'm not going to give you an answer.
We were here yesterday. If we could get you to talk about the Larimore situation, the Larimore situation.
Patrick medically retired because of a concussion.
What's that mean to the team?
It means somebody else has to step in there and do a heck of a job. Other guys have to fill a leadership role, void that's going to be created. But I'm confident guys will do it. We'll certainly miss him. He's a huge part of this team. These guys that have been here know him a lot better than I do and know his impact. And it's just going to be a tough loss for us.
Is Holmes the one that's going to be moving over to that spot?
At times he'll be in there, and then we'll have some other guys working as well.
Is that interesting? I know we always talk about in football the concussion issue and that going forward, but usually it's in the pros, and you know that. But what about in college? This is kind of a unique situation.
Well, I don't know that it's unique. I think that there's more focus on it nationwide, which I think is a good thing overall. I think we have to protect our youth. I think it usually manifests itself at a higher level because there's just more hits. But I think you're going to see more and more of this. I just do. There's more emphasis being put on safety, obviously player safety, early detection of head injuries, and it's an unfortunate thing for Pat, obviously, or anybody else that it happens to. But overall, I think the emphasis being put on head trauma is a good thing.
Talk about Brett's overall camp as well.
Brett Hundley. Brett's had a solid camp. We named him our starter a few days ago. He's practiced well. He's been consistent. He's shown leadership. He's been fairly consistent. I'd say he's developing consistency. That's probably the best way to put it. There's going to be some growing pains just because he's a redshirt freshman. He's never taken a snap at this level. But we're confident that he's the guy, going forward that's going to have the most impact for us. His teammates rally behind him. He's got nice arm strength. He can throw with some accuracy, and he can get out of trouble because he's an athlete, a great athlete with, the ability to run.
Are there any players that have surprised you, surprisingly come out here and done really well for you?
There's a number that have. And since I haven't answered your other questions, I'll give you some couple names.
Thank you.
Let me think about it. I think that if I start with some of the young guys, and I'll start with the freshmen, guys like Nate Esse, who people really haven't heard much about. He's been an outside linebacker and he's doing a heck of a job for us. Marcus Rios, who we had seen in spring, but he's continued to do a nice job. Ishmael Adams, who we kind of thought would be a pretty good player right off the bat, but he's still done a nice job for us. Randall Goforth is very competitive. We haven't gotten a chance to see Ellis, but I think, when we see him, we'll like what we see. Offensively, the young guys, I think the three receivers, Jordan Payton and Javon Williams and Kenny Walker have all done a nice job. And then some of the older guys, a guy like Ben Wysocki, kind of came out of nowhere and has been really consistent on the offensive line. Jordan James and Damon Thigpen, those guys are pretty good players, but it's been nice to see them have some durability. Jerry Johnson quietly has had a really good camp. He hasn't made a lot of noise, but he's been consistent. David Allen, you know, who's a really good special teams player and done a good job at fullback. So guys like that, you can whittle that
That's a
down, I'm
lot.
sure. Yeah, well, yeah.
Do you think this team, over the last couple of weeks of some two-a-days and some extreme heat, do you think that they've gotten tougher out here? Or do you still want them to?
Well, I think they're a tough team. I mean, to play football, you have to be tough. And, but yeah, I think fighting through some discomfort, fighting through some unfamiliarity, you know, being in a different environment, I think that, you know, that gives you an element of mental toughness. I think it does, yeah.
Did you go bowling last night?
I went bowling, but I did not bowl. I was the host, you know, the host. I had to make sure everyone was having a good time.
Were you impressed by, who was it that was so good?
I'll tell you, Marcus Tuiasosopo was good. Richard Brijo was good. The winning team was Tui's team. Courtney Morgan, who's one of our volunteers, bowled a 31. That was probably the, you know, that was, yeah, everyone kind of laughed like that when we announced it today. It was rather amusing. I'm not sure that he's a big man. He couldn't get, I don't think he could find a ball that he could fit his fingers into, but the guys had a great time. It was a fun night.
Are you a little sad that tomorrow's the last practice out here, or are you like, okay, good, let's get this going?
Well, it's been great to be out here. I mean, we've really enjoyed it, but I think it's time to get back to Westwood, and you know, we've got 2 new fields that are just beautiful waiting for us, and I think our players are excited to, you know, get home, sleep in their own beds, get in some familiar surroundings, and it's been a great 2 weeks out here, but I think it's time to go back, and you know, we're 2 weeks away from Rice, so we need to get home.
What prompted them move for Mora to defense today?
Good spot. You know what? He's so athletic. I mean, you know, and he's got a little bow-legged. He's got long arms, and he looks like a lot of really good corners I've been around. The way he moves, you know, he's fluid in his movement, and so we just figured we'd take a look at him. You know, I mean, nothing's permanent, but when you see an athlete like that, you want to try to utilize his abilities. And so I think he did some good things. You know, he told me that he played a couple of snaps in high school, and that was it. And you know, he still wants to be an offensive player, but he's unselfish, and he said, hey, you know, yeah, move me over there. If I can get on the field and help this team win, I'll go over there. So we'll see how he looks.
Did Simon Going struggle a little bit today?
He just ran on the side.
Was that the plan?
Yeah.
Did you like what you saw tomorrow?
I mean, it was pretty quick, you know, but I saw some good things. But he doesn't know how to backpedal yet, and you know, do those things that have to come natural for defensive back. But his raw athletic ability and his ball skills and his competitiveness, you know, those are things that you can build on.
So you think he'll stay there?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I guess the immediate future, you know.
I don't know. I mean, he might go back and forth. You know, we'll see. So.
Sure, you don't want to tell us what happened?
Nothing happened. It was all planned.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.